The div grid, what that does is replace the table tags with a div. Outer container, div. It replaces the TRs with a div. So there's a div for each row. It replaces the columns or cells, which would normally be TDs, with divs. So just basically a nested series of div elements with different style classes or selectors that you and I can use to then apply different styling. So it is now set up as a div grid, and it's actually very ugly. Divs are block elements, and so we see everything rendering vertically. So what I want to do now is transform this into something meaningful using the div grid. So here's the show actionable. This is my grid. That's inside Application Designer. I went to the grid level and I applied the style class show-actionable. That's what we see here, show-actionable. So I'm going to apply a new style class. And here, let's do this again because I want to make sure that my head is not in the way so you can see what I'm typing. I'm going to define a style class right here. It's JSM cards. Okay. And I'm actually not styling the grid. I'm styling the columns inside. So I need to style the rows, the container, the body. We've got rows. We've got a row and we've got a row. So right here, the body. You cannot attach CSS to the body. There's no way in PeopleSoft for you to do that. There's a way for you to attach a selector at the grid level. That's what I did. And then at the body level, we're just going to define, say, hey, any grid div grid body that is a child of .jsm_cards gets this styling. That styling is display flex dash flow row wrap. Cool. Okay, we've changed the appearance. So now let's go to each row and let's make some changes, or each column. Yeah, each row. And let's make some changes to the rows themselves. So I'm going to say, hey, any row that's a child of .jsm cards. So this is .ps_grid-row. And how about this? Let's put a border around them. So border, I spelled that wrong. Border, 1px solid. Color-wise, I mean, you and I can inspect. We could find this color number, but let's just go with something close for demonstration purposes. That's pretty close. That's a silvery color. And I need some spacing between them. So margin, 0.4 EM, that relative unit of measure. Oops, 0.4 EM. Great. I want some space inside between the borders, etc. So how about padding? Again, 0.4 EM. And I think it might be nice to soften the corners just a little bit, kind of like how these buttons are rounded. So I'm going to do that. And, looking up here, I've got, I don't know. PeopleSoft has a pretty square appearance, but I don't know, just to demonstrate. Why not? Why not? So border dash radius, let's go with 0.2 EM. Just soften them just a hair, not too much. We don't want to go full 2010, right? With our styling. Let's stay in the 2020s. Let's stay in the current decade with our styling there. I think it might be cool to add a bit of a glow effect behind them. In fact, we see PeopleSoft using a glow effect on the home pages, but mainly on the hover effect. The hover that's got a glow effect. So let's apply a glow effect, but let's do it all the time, not just on hover. So how about box shadow? And so the way a shadow works is a shadow is based off of a light source. You've got an object and you've got a light source. And the shadow, of course, is opposite of the light source. And the size of the shadow is dependent on various variables. Like if you see a leaf, a leaf has a curl laying on the ground. Where the leaf is touching the ground exactly, there's no shadow. But where it's lifted up a little bit, there's a shadow. So, you might say that the shadow is based off the distance the item is away from the surface. So the coordinates or the dimensions, numbers that we need to pass for a box shadow are what's the X and Y, and then how far out should the shadow go. So let's go with 0.4 EM again. And the default is to be a black, but let's go with a green color. Why? Because it's different. And number two, because, hey, I think it'd be cool if, like we had a green alien glow effect, and everybody knows that aliens are green. You didn't know that, didn't you? Okay, so this is looking okay. It could look better, I suppose. But, it's a good start. So let's grab the CSS mocked up here. Oh, by the way, I'm going to show you a little trick here in the web browser. So first off, Chrome, it's always up to date. It's always updating itself. And in the past, when you would use the element inspector, etc., to mock up CSS, it nicely formatted that CSS for you. It appears, I don't know, maybe based off current updates, that it is inlining, one-lining, or you might say white space compressing, which is a good thing. But PeopleSoft will white space compress for us through its own algorithms. So let's use the little format button here to format the CSS to make it just a little bit easier to read here. That's the little curly braces button. Formats the code for you. So I'm going to copy that, and then in Application Designer, create a new style sheet. This is a freeform substyle sheet. Paste it, save it as JSM_cards. Oh, FF, JSM cards underscore FF. Always use the appropriate naming conventions, right? FF for freeform style sheet. So now I have to do this. Rename style sheet, JSM cards underscore FF. Okay, save it. Yes. Yes. Good. That doesn't exist anymore. We'll remove it from the project. And let's insert into project as well. Insert definitions of projects, style sheet, JSM cards. Great. Let's go to the page now. Page activate. You know, page activate. Do we have to use page activate? We could use component prebuild as well. In fact, that's a really good idea. Use component prebuild. This is our fun page. And let's style sheet is going to be JSM cards FF. Okay, fantastic. Oh, and I need to associate the style class with my grid. Okay, great. And then in a new window, let's launch it. See what, oh, it worked! Woohoo!